Welcome to our this year's Sharpen project presentation. We want to present you our case study from year 2019, and we want to talk about motivation, a key factor in SMEs. Let me introduce you my team. This is Maximilian, Isabel, and my name is Andreas. Today, we want to talk about the following points. At first, we want to give an introduction. We want to talk about HR processes and challenges in our partner SME. After that, we want to go a little bit more into the literature and a theoretical background. After that, findings and analysis, and then we want to present our practical tool. But for the start, Isabel will talk about the region and the industry in Saxony.
Correct. So let me introduce you. Our SME is located in the western part of Saxony in eastern Germany. This is the red federal state marked on the map behind me. The major industries in our federal state of Saxony are technical, so for example, automotive industry, electrotechnology, and engine construction are very present. And especially the western part of Saxony is dominated by the automotive sector that you can also see in the on the slide behind me. The blue point right there represents the automotive sector. And as you can see, it makes up more than 3/4 of the circle. With 5 production sites operated by Volkswagen, BMW and Porsche, and about 780 branch suppliers, Saxony is one of the top automotive locations today. Also, the automotive industry contributes over 1/4 to the industrial turnover. Now I would like to introduce you to our SME. Due to a German Data Protection Act, we are not allowed to use the real name of our SME, so we decided to come up with a code name. And yeah, so we named our SME Fabulous Bumpers Group. FBG, the short term for Fabulous Bumpers Group, is a global automotive supplier headquartered in Canada, covering the entire spectrum of exterior trim. The branch, which will be referred to in this presentation, is an SME located in the western part of Saxony. Our branch was built in 2012 and currently employs 140 employees. The products are special products and they are specialized in front and rear bumpers. These products can be found in cars, trucks, as well as specialized products for the industry. Now I would like to introduce you to the company culture. So first of all, FBG highly values its employees and puts significance to the culture within the enterprise and the working atmosphere. The culture is based on fairness and concern for the employees. To strengthen the culture, multiple measures have been put in place. So other than the code of conduct and the operational principles, FBG values 4 major aspects, and those are presented behind me on the slide. The first of them being the Fairness Committee. So the Fairness Committee represents both commercial workers as well as employees working in the production line, and the Fairness Committee replaces the Work Council. Second aspect is the company intern application. Obviously, this application can be accessed very easily by every member of staff, since it is an application. And on this application, the SME accepts every idea from every employee to solve FBG-specific challenges. Another aspect is the FBG People newsletter. So this newsletter contains a letter from the CEO. It contains an economic update on the current situation of the company-orientated news, also news about other production plants located around the world, and future plans, as well as the annual report of the previous year. In order to support the underlining of the employees' importance, FBG implemented the open door policy. This policy helps to communicate the employees' ideas and suggestions for improvement and innovation. And very important, FBG guarantees to resolve the staff's concern without the fear of retaliation. So after I've introduced you to the company culture, now Max is going to proceed with the HR processes.
Thank you. So now the HR department at FBG consists of two members, the head of HR and an HR officer. They're trying to have flat structures in their hierarchy. That's why they can have quick reaction times through short ways. And also through daily briefings in the morning, it is easy for them to control every day. Now let's talk about recruitment and onboarding. There are 3 steps. First step is the application, either online through their own career page or job boards, and offline in the newspapers as well as wallboard ads. After that, the revision, they say it's fast, 3 to 5 days, and also fair and objective. Once you got accepted, you go through a full-scale onboarding through every department. This onboarding goes for 3 days, and every employee has to go through it. The salary and benefits are salary and benefits. The salary is in line with the market, but they don't pay tariff. Benefits are monetary and non-monetary. Monetary benefits are here Christmas and holiday bonuses, as well as annual premiums and travel costs to citizen. And non-monetary benefits, for example, a 24-hour service hotline for really everything. Either you have problems at work or with an insurance or private problems, you can call them. They got a retirement matching program and also mentoring programs. Now the work-life balance at FBG is in balance, especially through all the benefits, and our SME wants their employees to be in balance. Now let's come to the HR challenges in Saxony.
Thank you, Max. At first, I want to talk about general challenges in Saxony, and we found out 3 big challenges, and the first one is the globalization. I think everyone is confirmed with that, and just to give a little explanation of what globalization is, it can be understood as a process when companies and businesses start to work together in projects, corporations, or in trade all around the world. So it means cross-national or international. The second challenge is the current demographic change in Germany, which means the number of elderly people increases and the number of younger ones decreases. What does this mean? In the first point, it means that a fewer number of young people has to work for the older ones and their retirement, which is a big challenge because sometimes there are not enough people to work for the retirement. And the third one is the lack of skilled employees. This means that more and more people want to live in big cities or capitals because it is more attractive. So the companies may not have enough employees in their region to do all their work or to fulfill their tasks in the correct time and to find enough qualified personnel for all the work. So these were 3, I would say, general challenges for SMEs in Saxony. And now I want to talk a little bit more specific about the HR challenges for our company. At first, you should know that our company is a first level or tier 1 supplier for the original equipment manufacturer or the OEM, which means there can occur a variability in manufacturing numbers as well as the amount of people you need to produce all the things. So you have to be flexible in HR and also flexible in your employees. The second one is the current change in e-mobility and the structural changes that come on in changes in production, because you need flexible people who may work longer and faster to reach all the goals. As I already said, the lack of skilled employees is one of the three biggest problems, and also in our company, they need a lot of IT specialists and IT specialist skills for prospective employees. This means the company has to hire, satisfy, and hold employees in their company to, to be prepared for all the challenges in the future. And the last one is the satisfaction level, which means they have to treat their employees correctly and satisfy the individual needs for a higher level of motivation. And to sum up all of that, we come to the question how to correctly motivate our employees or your employees in your company. And for that, we set some goals for our case study.
Correct. So I'm going to introduce you to them right now. This is basically the process how we came to the conclusion of creating a practical tool in the form of, the final form, which it is right now. So let me commence. First of all, in our case company, we realized, or the HR department in our case company realized that there has been a significant decrease in satisfaction. So it used to be at 95%, but it is now at 85%, which is still very high, but obviously there is a decrease. And we figured out it might be due to decreasing motivation. Our case company has a large variety of incentives, but we figured they might be a bit overwhelming and maybe not even fitting for the employees' expectations or needs. So we came to the conclusion that it is necessary to improve the motivation methods our SME uses. It's especially important for them to figure out whether they should use more extrinsic or intrinsic motivation methods. And this is why we developed a practical tool in the form of a questionnaire to assist our case company in figuring out which motivation methods to use. To be able to create this practical tool, we had to inform ourselves not only regarding the theoretical background, but also further topics had to be analyzed. And Andreas is going to talk you through that now.
Let's go a little bit through the theoretical background. For us, motivation was, I would say, a new word and also a big word because no one knows what's behind. And at first, I want to say that motivation consists of three components: the direction, which means what a person is trying to do, the effort, how hard a person is trying to do something, and the persistence, which means how long a person is trying to do a task or something else. And we wanted to improve the effort, how hard a person is trying to do and how much they want to do their tasks. For that you have two possibilities or two ways of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And intrinsic motivation describes a way of motivation by the work itself, e.g. when your employee finds the work interesting, challenging, or important from the task itself. And extrinsic means when something is done from another person to motivate someone to do their job, e.g. Incentives, payments, and stuff like that. And as I already mentioned, the goal is to satisfy your employees and motivate them to correctly do the work. One important question when it comes to employees and when HR managers think about their employees is how people feel about their work. Because if you can identify with your work, you may work harder. So our main sources were the Armstrong's Handbook of Human Resource Management and also Kruska and Sushobius, Managing People in Small and Medium enterprises. For now, I want to explain you a little bit more intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. The central question is why we do what we do. And as you can see from the pictures, intrinsic motivation comes from the person itself, and extrinsic motivation comes from the outside. And this figure is from Human Tuition from 2018, and we find it a little bit self-explanatory because you can see how the different ways of motivation can work, and how you as an HR manager or as a general manager can influence your staff's motivation. I talked about needs, and for this we want to make sure that you know what needs are, and we choose Maslow's hierarchy of needs here in a picture from MacLeod. And Maslow divides his needs in three main topics: basic needs, psychological needs, and self-fulfillment needs. And self-fulfillment is the highest stage of need fulfillment. But let's start with the basics. It's psychological needs like food, water, and stuff. After that, safety needs, belongingness and love, esteem, and then self-actualization. So you have to start from the bottom and go to the top. And these are the main needs you can satisfy by your employees. And yes, as I already said, the one on the bottom is the most important. And yes, after that, Max will go on with the methodology and how we worked in our case study.
All right, so point 3 methodology. We got like roughly 7 steps. So the methodology was based on interviewing the company's head of HR, and we had 2 interviews in total. In addition, we used accessible corporate documents and online information, as well as textbooks, like Andreas already said. And after that, or during that all, we had working sessions for the case study writing, the questionnaire, and the taking of the videos for the handbook. Now let's come to findings and analysis. We found out in the interviews that even the salary is in line with the market. There is wage envy to the big neighbor which pays union rates, so tariff, but also the monotonous work and the working hours itself channel into a drop of employee satisfaction from 95 to 85% from 2017 to 2018. In our analysis, we carried out 3 main points. Number 1 point for us is the intrinsic motivation, which contains also personal growth, purpose, passion, self-fulfillment, fun, and it's strongly linked to the job content and identification with the job. Second point is the quality of supervision. In 1939, the 2 economy scientists Rittlersberger and Dixon wrote in their Hawthorne studies that the supervisors influences employees' motivation and attitudes. So for that, it's a key determinant, and only in high-quality supervision you can achieve high-quality work from high-quality employees. The third part is success and failure. Success lifts motivation, no doubt. Also, a link to gamification in processes can be made. And what the company is doing at the moment, they are also rethinking their culture of failure. And they want to use failure as a part of the learning process. And it is believed that culture of failure is the basis for new innovations. So let's go on with the practical HRM tool with Isabel.
So we decided to create a practical HRM tool, and as I already said before, it will be used to solve the problem of a decreasing motivation level by knowing which incentives are more useful or more fitting for the employees. We decided to create a questionnaire, and this questionnaire is based on extrinsic and intrinsic motivation. So just to remind you again, extrinsic motivation is based on behavior being driven by external reward, such as money, praise, or grades. And intrinsic motivation relates to behavior being driven by internal reward, such as achievement and responsibility. Now, to the realization of our questionnaire is self-explanatory. Really, the employees answer the posed questions. The questions are generally phrased and must be customized to fit the SME's needs. Now, let me introduce you to the structure. On the first page, we are asking the surveyed employee to give us some general information. So we are asking them to give us information about their age as well as their company division, so in which one they are active. The following part of our questionnaire consists of two parts, but still it is a coherent survey. Now, the first part of our survey is based on intrinsic motivation. So one example as a question would be question number 4. I like to work with my colleagues in my team, with the answer possibilities being strongly disagree, disagree, agree, and fully agree. The third part of the questionnaire is based on extrinsic motivation. And once again, to give you an idea of a question, would be question number 6. I feel valued by my supervisor, again with the answer possibilities being strongly disagree, disagree, agree, and fully agree. And also at the bottom of both of these pages, there's a blank box for the surveyed employee to mention whatever he or she would like to add. Then we have another part of our questionnaire, which is for the HR manager only. And yeah, we prepared some individual texts for every question that are going to help the HR manager in evaluating the results. And these texts are based on the explanation of the theoretical background as well as a proposal for the HR manager on how he could proceed. Just to give you one example, this would be the explanation text to question number 1 of the first part, intrinsic motivation. Okay, that is basically our practical tool. And now Andreas is going to continue with our learned lessons.
Yes, thank you very much. As you know, for us, this was a learning module in our studies, or this year's studies in the 4th semester. And we learned, I would say, a lot in different things. We divided it into some hard skills and also soft skills. And for us, hard skills are the theoretical background and lectures from HRM specific topic, which means we learned how to read specialized HR literature, textbooks, articles, and also write a case study in cooperation with local SME partners in the Zwickau region. And one of these case studies we presented to you in the last minutes. And we also learned how to organize projects and group works, because it was, for some of us, a new experience in this way. And we also learned some soft skills in our, mainly in our intensive study program week in Klaipėda, which was, by the way, a very great week with very great hosts in Klaipėda in Lithuania. Thank you very much for that. We learned about intercultural competencies, especially communication in HR-specific English, as well as that group work is a continuous process, and sometimes it is hard because you come to a point and then you realize this was not so good and you have to start again and this again and again and again, and sometimes it's very hard to do all the tasks. And this is also the last point. We learned a lot about self-organization of our tasks and how we can reach the fixed goals in the correct time. So for me, I hope you enjoyed our presentation for this point. Thank you very much for your attention. And do you have any questions?